you have explained the mechanism. Thank you very much. And as far as the paper presentations are concerned, the list which I have around 14 names who have submitted the full papers, and there is a list of abstracts which we are not considering. And let me read out the names if you are present. Depending upon the number, we will allot the time. So the first paper, Securities Trading and Settlement Issues, Vinay Kumar. Is he here? Yeah. And second paper, Anil Singh Thakur. Third one, Anusha and Tirupati. Anusha and Tirupati. There or
My
not?
paper is about identifying the security issues which investors are facing today towards trading. And then other one would be the increase the confidence level about the investors. And these are the two objects which mostly have been covered in the paper. And so it's like identifying the issues as the dignitaries on the dais has been mentioned, Mr. Durga Prasadji and Usha Kiran ma'am. See, today the systems are so robust that we don't find any major issues regarding the trading is concerned. But at the same time, there's a lot of issues which comes on a confidence level, more than anything on a technical aspect, or more than anything on a individually the trader executing the trades. It's more on a confidence level of the investor. So my focus would be more on a confidence level of the investor than on a technology aspect, because technology as such is a sophistication has given a robust thing after the NSE has been coming to the picture. And so as far as the confidence levels are concerned, today if you see the market trading happen, the way the trading happens in the market capitalization, if you look at the market capitalization, 80% of the market capitalization is more towards is from 20% of the stocks. It's like 80-20 rule which comes into the picture. But that gives a question mark on a liquidity issues. So when this liquidity is a concern, then there would be a lot of investors which they would not like to be active in the market. And especially in an institutional space, when we have an institutional investor who's coming into the market, and the volumes which they trade, whether it's in a domestic institutional investor or a foreign institutional investor, the volumes which they trade are very high when compared to the retail investors. So when the liquidity is an issue, the institutions would like to stay away from the market. In fact, that has been visible in the Indian stock markets as of now. If you look at some of the parameters, like we don't get the money from the endowments. Endowments, basically the foreign universities which invest huge into the equity markets as well as the fixed income markets, and the pension funds. These I'm talking about the foreign pension funds. We don't get a huge allocation from those funds. Whereas like a country like a China, which gets about a 5 to 6% of the allocation, whereas India we gets about a 2 to 3% of the allocation. And if you look at the trade volume, the difference of a 2 to 3% or a 3 to 4% of a difference, which makes a huge difference to the country like India. So that is where the major concern which comes in terms of the liquidity issue. And the other things which mostly the FIs have raised is mostly about the capacity of the Indian portfolio manager. Today, the Indian portfolio manager manages on an average about a $2 to $3 billion, whereas foreign portfolio managers manage much more than what Indian portfolio manages. So that is, if you look at the say suppose example, if we take about the mutual fund industry, the largest mutual fund would be if you rank the top 5 mutual funds like Reliance or ICICI or your UTI. So these are the fund. If you look at the fund size, the largest fund they would be having about a 12,000 crores, 10 to 12,000 crores, or maximum would be something like a 15,000 crores. I think HDFC has got a one fund which is about a 15,000 crores. So if you convert that into the $1 billion, it will be about a $2 to $3 billion. So that's where the concern which been raised about the FIs about Indian portfolio managers. And most of the money, the sad to say is like most of the money which has been managed of the India dedicated funds, there are approximately about if I remember the numbers correctly, approximately about $80 billion has been invested in Indian equity markets, which is predominantly is come from Indian dedicated funds, which has been managed out of the Singapore or Hong Kong.
Will you please conclude?
Sure, ma'am. So which has been managed out of the Singapore or Hong Kong. So that is where the issues has been raised. So the first thing I suggest is more increase the institutional participation. The conclusion which I've come across is the increase the institutional participation is the first priority which SEBI should be looking at, and SEBI should be more proactive in terms of the some of the cases. I mean, it is maybe one of the cases. I just take an example. Maybe I'll take another few seconds. Like we take an example of the Satyam. When Satyam fraud has been confessed by the Mr. Raju, and it is a clear mandate from the government that this company has to be sold to someone else. And when you have a clear mandate, but still the trading was happening on the Satyam, and which has built a lot of a speculation, like whether L&T Infotech is going to buy the Satyam or somebody else is going to buy it, which has been created a lot of speculation in the stock. Similar things happened in Kingfisher, and the latest one which is happening in the Wellspun, which has been again on which cannot be called as a scam, but there's a kind of a fraudulent which is happened in the Wellspun. The stock is continuously hitting a lower circuit from last 7 days, which has been lost almost like 60 to 70%, but still the trading is happening. So these are the things which SEBI can be more cautious, and this is what I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinay, for sharing your views. May I now call upon?
My paper today comprises of the regulatory concerns of modern capital markets from CIS perspective. CIS is nothing but collective investment scheme. All the day we have been hearing Sharda, Satyam and Sharda and Sahara, all these scams. We also discussed about PSCL. These are all nothing but the participants, the promoters of CIS scheme. What is CIS? CIS is to understand from layman perspective. It as its name suggests, it is an investment scheme wherein several individuals come together to pool their money for a specific purpose with the terms and conditions already pre-decided. This is the basic definition of CIS. So here SEBI, which has been doing from the CIS Amendment Act 1999, has been doing a tremendous job, but still I feel there exist some regulatory concerns regarding CIS. To name a few. Firstly, we say that why only one company, since the act has been enacted, is registered. We have 10 major CIS scams has been there, but only one company, that too government company from Gujarat, is registered as CIS. And the second question is, why of the 552 CIS companies prosecuted by SEBI, and among them only 124 companies were secured, were convicted, and 75 of them ended their business and refunded the money to the customers. So there is a lot of difference between what the act saying and SEBI doing. And why is this happening? Just to name a few, find the appropriate reasons over here is that in CIS, I stands for investment and S stands for scheme. Investment is a central list domain. As per the Article 246, investment comes under the purview of Ministry of Finance, which is regulated by the central government. And schemes such as Ponzi schemes, these are under the state list, and these are regulated by the state government. So the promoters of the CIS has been exploring the loopholes, whatever available in this terminal, in this jargon. So by doing this, apart from that, they say that the money has been deposited by the individual investors. So here again, the term deposit has come. As per the Companies Act 2013, Section 73 to 76, Section 73 to 75, 76, the term deposit has been mentioned, but it is a very vague definition has been given, whereas the same deposit word has a very crystal clear meaning in the Banking Regulation Act. So here again, the only thing here what is happening is this, the loopholes of law pertaining to jargon, which because of the jurisdiction availability. The promoters has challenged SEBI's order for saying that the SEBI lacks the jurisdiction because it doesn't come under any state or central, it is again an autonomous body. So these things, and then while exploring this, it shows that SEBI is lacking judicial power. Previously, SEBI, when it has to exercise its power of search and seizure with these CIS companies, it has to go to a magistrate, take his permission, then go and do a search and seizure. But whereas in that case, it has ample of time with the CIS promoters to remove the documents, whatever pertaining to those things are available there. So in this process, actually the process of fraud, like the process which is explored by these promoters, is that first a fraud has to be reported. Until and unless the fraud is reported, none of the nodal agencies, neither government, nobody will come forward to look into the matter. Then SEBI initiates the inquiry. The fraud has to be reported to SEBI. SEBI initiates an inquiry. It issues a show cause notice to the promoters. Then CIS management companies replies to the notices. There is a dispute between those two. Then the dispute goes to Securities Appellate Tribunal. Then the tribunal will give a decision. After that, the tribunal again, there is an appeal time with the Supreme Court. So this is what happening.
Please conclude.
This is what happening. I'm just finishing. This is what is happening. So in this process, so to understand a fraud, like what has happened in case of fraud, money or financial gain has happened. This is the baseline of the fraud. The money has not gone anywhere. The money is with has gone to the person who has committed the fraud. So all which is required is some more judicial powers to SEBI and making the civil crime as a criminal crime. Make it as because if a person if an average Indian is staying on $2 a day, then how can this crores of rupees can be a civil wrong? It has to be, once we follow a procedure of deterrent theory, like if we deter the fraud, the ways and means of doing the fraud, then only we can see a fraudless society. Thank you.
Thank you, Anil, for bringing out interdisciplinary approach to this issue.